we are talking about a basic concept, is it? See, when we are taking into consideration the facts, is it right? We are taking into consideration the facts as such, is that we divide the audit, is it? Functionally, is it right? Functionally, what will happen? We are talking in terms of internal audit and we are talking in terms of external audit, is it right? External. You are dividing this chapter into various different parts. Okay, what is the difference between internal audit and external audit? What is the functions of internal audit? Is that why people sometimes what will happen? People will not take into consideration the appointment of internal auditor. They will outsource internal audit. Okay, they will outsource the internal audit. We will talk about the things in detail, something specifically, and listen, this will be some way, this lecture will be for 8 marks, minimum 8 marks, is it right? Scenario based or somewhere. Now if you are talking about the multiple choice question will not be focused only on one topic. Multiple choice questions will be focused on all the topics, is it right? One scenario they'll cover 3 or 4 topics. We are talking in terms of what is the internal audit. Yes, tell me please.
There is a question from last class that you have told us to remember. June 2050.
Okay.
There is one question left.
Okay, we will question. I know we will do that question on, inshallah, on Saturday.
Okay.
Okay. We dedicate that things on Saturday, inshallah. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Saturday we will do. I remember that. I know. I remember that. But we'll do it on Saturday, inshallah. Is it? Now, what we are doing, we are talking about the internal audit. See, the function of we have done in corporate governance, is that one of the conditions of corporate governance is you should have an internal audit department. Internal auditor is nothing but they are the employees. Okay, they are the employees. The independence, is it right? The independence level is going to be little bit less, is it right? Because they are working in coordination. But what happened? We will take that into consideration. What is the distinction between an internal audit and external audit? If the examination is easy, is it right? If the examination is easy, they will give this question for 4 marks. Is that? They will give this question for differentiate between an internal audit and external audit. And what the internal audit will do, that's very important. The internal audit, what internal audit will do, we have done in corporate governance. What they will do? What are the activities of internal audit? Tell me, you have to tell. Right or wrong, you tell me, I'm here. No, don't worry about that. What the internal...
Internal controls.
Internal audit will do everything, is it right? We have a very general understanding that internal audit will talk about only internal controls. No, internal audit will do everything. Is that there is nothing like you are not doing this, you are not doing that. Every other activity that's happening, internal audit is part of the system as such. Is it right? Now, what we are doing, we are talking about what are the assignments, what are the tasks internal auditor will do, and how important is internal audit reports. Is it right? See, when we are talking, as an auditor, is it right? As a statutory auditor, if you are going to a client place, the first and foremost thing you will see the internal audit reports. One of the task it is that you have to review the internal audit reports. That will give you an understanding what's happening in the firm as such. Is that will give you an understanding. Now, what happens? Internal audit. Internal audit is nothing but we have done. What is the internal audit? It is nothing but value for money audit. Is it right? Value for, what is the value for money audit? What is the value for money audit? Is it right? What is the value for money audit?
3 is.
3 is it right? Effectiveness, efficiency and
Economy.
efficiency and
Economy.
efficiency and economy. Is it right? Value for money audit. Effectiveness, efficiency and economy. Is it right? These are the things we will cover. Fine. That's very simple. Is that very specific? It's a very easy to understand, easy to score marks. Is it right? Just focus on that. Is it? What is the concept of internal audit? Difference between internal audit and external audit. What is the scope of internal audit? What are the assignments internal auditor will do? What is the importance of internal audit reports? And what is the why we will outsource it? What is the, if you outsource it, what are the advantages and disadvantages? If you employ the people, what are the advantages and disadvantages? Is it? These are the basic things we will cover. Is it? Discuss the factors why there is a need for internal audit. Is it? The same thing. Is it? In detail. What is the best practice which are going to best practice in the structure in terms of what are the operations of internal audit? Is it right? With reference to what? With reference to corporate governance. Is it? And what is the role of external auditor and internal auditor? Is it right? The scope of internal audit, the purpose of outsourcing. Outsourcing is nothing but we will based on the contract, something like that. Is it right? Will not. And definitely in the end we are going to have what are the advantages and disadvantages. Is that this is the first segment. Okay. What is the second segment that we are going to work it out? Here we are talking in terms of what? Value for money audit. Is it right? Value for money. There is a IT audit is there, financial audit is there, regulatory audit is there. You are talking in terms of fraud investigation is there. Is it? What are the various assignments? Is it right? Various assignments internal auditor will do. Is it right? What are the various assignments internal auditor will do? Is it right? They will do everything. As simple as that. There is no restriction on that. Value for money audit, IT audit, financial, regulatory, fraud and customer experience. Even they will take the feedback from the customers. Is it right? Discuss the nature and purpose of what are the assignments we are going to do. Is it right? What are the assignments we are going to do? And most importantly, when we are talking about the internal audit review reports, is it right? It make appropriate recommendations to the management. Is that the internal audit report is very crucial, as simple as that. Is that? And they are very influential people, very simple. Is it right? They will scrutinize each and every decision taken by the management, and most importantly they are reporting to the board of directors. Is it right? They are reporting to whom? They are reporting to the board of directors as such. Is it right? This is the basic concept. Now, what are the responsibilities of internal auditor and external auditor in terms of prevention and detection of fraud and error? Fine. Very basic, very simple concept, easy to understand, easy to reflect, easy to score marks also. Okay. It is not substantive procedures or test of controls. Is it right? It's not that much difficult. Very simple. Okay. Now, what is see, internal auditor is nothing but it is a system that has been in place because of what? code of corporate governance. Is it right? Now, internal auditor, how it will work? Is that it is going to be a report to the audit committee. Is it right? Is right? Means through corporate governance structure, there is a link with the audit committee as such. Means on par with this. See the thing. Audit committee is independent directors. Is it right? Non-executive directors. Is it? Now I will give you a revision. Will also be part of this. Is it right? Now internal auditor, how they will have the scope as such. One side they talk about the corporate governance. Is it? They assist. Is it right? They assist a little bit with respect to the external auditor also. Internally, is it? Internally, internal auditor is nothing but there are the employees of the organization. When they are the employees of the organization, what they will do? They will do every other thing that is in place. Every other thing, the operational audit, inventory audit, procurement audit, sales audit, you take anything, it will be there part of the parcel. Is it right? Value for money audit will be there. These are the assignments. Assignments is no, these are the tasks that the internal auditor will do. Is it? This much you should understand in general, basic structure. See, one thing is very certain. In F8, we are not talking about any applications. Means we are not talking about what are the reasons behind that. We are talking about what are the causes. That's all. Is it right? That is from chapter 1 to, they will talk about the functions, they will talk about the procedures, that's all. They will not talk about what will happen. That is not part of the syllabus anywhere in F8. Okay? Now, what it says is it? Internal is the appraisal. That's very, very specific. Now you can understand. I am telling you in a very simplest of the simplest words. Internal auditor is nothing but he will design, he will implement, he will review, he will monitor, and he will review. That's all. Is it right? What they will do? He will design. Is it? He will design. Is it right? He will design. He will implement. Is it right? He will monitor and he will review. This is what is there. The moment you are going to review, again in the next year he will design. This circle will always continue. Is it right? This circle will. Internal auditor is an appraisal or monitoring activity. That is what the management or directors cannot go into each and every aspect. Is it right? What they will do, they will take the help, they will appoint internal auditors. What they will do? For the review of internal controls. See, what is the internal controls? Internal controls is nothing but, in simple way, it is nothing but segregation of duties. We have covered in every lecture, every other part, that there should be segregation of duties. Segregation of duties, in other words, is an internal control. Is it right? As a service to the entity. It functions what? It functions by what it does. It will examine, it will evaluate, is that? It will report anything to the whom? To the management and directors. That's all what they will do. What the internal auditor will do, they will talking about the internal controls, examine. See, this process should, see what I have written. See the thing. First you will design, then you will implement, then you will monitor, then you will review. Fine. This phase steps should be followed. Is it right? In the same way, what they will do? They will examine. Is it right? Next, they will evaluate. Then they will report. What they are doing? They are talking about whether the segregation of duties are effective or not. As simple as that. They are talking about what? They are talking about the adequacy and effectiveness of internal controls. That's all. Internal controls are a simple word of segregation of duties. Internal audit is key element for what? It is a effect. How how the company is managed. That's very important. Is that internal? See, in some cases, not in some cases, the rule says that internal audit. See here what they have mentioned. Internal audit department is on par with audit committee. Understand point? It is on par with audit committee. Internal auditor will report to the board of directors. Keep it in mind that much powerful internal audit will be there. Is it right? They will. Is it? Remember, we have earlier highlighted the need of companies to have the good systems. Is that if internal control is there, definitely what will happen? Definitely the risk will be minimized. Is it right? That is the only purpose. Is it right? The risk should be at an acceptable low level. Is it right? What we are doing, this is where we have to. Risk will be there, but what is the risk? The risk should be, it has to be acceptable at a low level. Is it as minimum as possible? That's what it says. In order to manage the risk they face, internal auditor can play in assessing the monitoring of controls and procedures. Fine. That is the basic introduction about internal audit. Is it right? See the thing. Whenever you will focus you will focus on these numbers. Is that maybe some cases, very rarely, I have edited so much, is it right? Maybe some cases I have one or maybe, I don't think so, I have done it. It may miss, okay? It's not deleted, but I have added to the another slide as well. What is the board internal audit? How they will assess to the board of directors? That's why I told you now. Is it right? What happens? These are the board of directors. Is it right? Internal auditor, see, CEO will be there. Is it right? Internal auditor will directly report to whom? Will directly report to the board of directors. Board. Even they will overlook CEO. CEO will also be not in the picture as such. Is that right? Being experts within the company, auditor acting as auditors for board reports not otherwise audited by external audit. What they will do? They will not take the things what external auditors are doing. External auditors, what they will do? External auditors are only doing what? Financial statements. Understand what? External auditors, I will write here so that it will be easy for you. Is it right? It is all the part of the, see, almost we are starting revision as such. Is it right? What the external auditor are doing? With the external auditor are only talking about what? Financial statements. Whereas internal auditor will do everything which has been not done by the external auditors. They are the experts within the company. Is it right? It's not like that. Internal auditors they are also ACCA. Is it? They are also chartered accountants. Is it? They are not other chartered accountants are the part of. Is it? But they are the experts within the company in the field of auditing and accounting standards. Now you can understand how important is. We are talking in terms of IAS and you are talking in terms of IFRS. Is that? And implementing any new standards are there. They will license. Is that? They will coordinate with the external auditors. Is that? Particularly external where external auditors can use the work of internal auditor will review. Is it right? Internal auditor will review something. Is that? Review some task. Is that? Inventory. Is it internal? What the external auditor will do? External auditor will review the work of the internal auditor. When external auditor is reviewing the work of the internal auditor, they will have the communication. Is that? What is the advantage? Definitely. They use it is going to be what? It is going to be more economy. Cost will be less. Is it right? Cost of the external auditor will be less. Means time will less. Don't take cost in terms of cost. Cost in terms of time. If internal auditor reports are effective, if they are in place, definitely external auditor can rely on the work of the internal auditor. Is it? What is the definition? Internal auditors, is it? An independent objective assurance and consulting activity. See, on paper, is it right? See, on paper, if internal auditor has to be independent, 100%. Has to be independent. That's what it says. Internal auditor is more significant. It's more crucial than the external auditor. Understand? They have to be independent. They have to be objective, unbiased. Is it right? They have the consulting activity. What they are doing by having internal auditor in the organization, you are going to add what? You are going to add value. Very simple. That is the basic bottom line. That you are adding value and improving the operations. It helps organization to achieve the objectives by a systematic, is it? By systematic, disciplined approach. With respect to what? With respect to the effectiveness of what? The effectiveness of risk management. That's very simple. Is it? Now you can say they have to be independent, they have to be objective, unbiased, they have to be in a consulting activity. It will add value to the organization and improve the operations. They are very systematic and disciplined, because what happens wherever we are talking about the internal auditor works on what? Works on manuals. Everything. The moment you talk about industry procedures, is that they will work on procedures. Maybe if you have interaction with the internal auditors, is it right? Nobody will like internal auditors. Very simple. Always they will put some question mark. They will put some query. Is it right? They will ask you some explanations as such. Is that because of not anything else? They want to make sure that has to be there in a systematic way as such. Is it right? Now, what is the difference between an internal audit and external audit? It will be there for 4 marks. If exam paper is easy, understand point? If exam paper is easy, it will be for 4 marks. Fine. Is it? First you think about internal audit. They will add value and improve operations. Is it right? Works related to what? Works related to the organization, operations of the organization. Anything as such. Is it right? Next. Relationship there are the employees of the organization. Sometimes they will be outsourced. Sometimes they will be outsourced. Outsource is nothing but if there is any work, they will be given on a task-based appointments. Is it right? They will do on a task-based appointment. Reports to the whom? Reports to the senior management, and most importantly, reports to whom? Reports to the audit committee. Is it? Reports to whom? Reports to the audit committee as such. Is it right? Reports to the audit committee. Is it? Now, planning and collection of evidence. There is no material. They don't think of. They will not talking about any amounts, all those things. Is it right? External auditor will talk about materiality. Internal auditor will only talk about the procedures, systems, controls. Understand what? They will never ever, I can say to my knowledge, they will never ever go to the financial statements as such. Is that? Review of financial statements is not the work of the internal auditor. Maybe procedure rather than risk based. They are talking in terms of they are very much focused on procedures. That's what it says. Is that the purpose is what? The purpose is that put the number. The purpose, first the purpose, then the scope, relationship, whom they are reporting, and most importantly, what they are planning. They will ask you any 4. Okay, they will ask you any three marks. That's all. Is it right? Now, this is what it says. You got my point? Whereas, what is the role of external auditor? Is it right? They will give the opinion on what? On the financial statements. These people are talking about what? These talking about operations, how the things are moving. These people talking about what? These people talking about the financial statements. Is it? They are very much concerned about what? They are not concerned about operations. Is it right? They are concerned about the work related to what? Financial statements. Work related to what? Financial records. Is that important? Remember, revise this. Okay? Revise this. It makes sense. At least if it is not getting in examination now, forget about that. You will get the vocabulary. That's very important in the examination. You have to get the vocabulary, you have to get the language of audit. Language of audit will give you 10 marks additional easily. Got my mind? Now, what the external audit, the internal auditors are employees. They are not independent, whereas external auditors are independent. And internal auditors are employed by the management. Is it right? Internal auditors are employed by the management. External auditors are employed by whom? Shareholders. Internal auditors reports to the management. External auditors reports to whom? Shareholders. Whereas internal auditor no materiality, whereas external auditor has the materiality. We understand materiality means what? You are talking in terms of performance materiality. We are talking about overall materiality. Is that I am writing the thing? Is that when you are talking about performance materiality 1% to 2%? Is that when you are talking about profit before tax, it is 5% to 10%? Is it right? That is performance materiality. Is it audit? Whereas it is internal auditor is procedures, whereas external auditors is based on what? It is based on the risk. Is it right? In the next exam, in next quiz, there will be one question on this. Is it right? There will be one question on this. What is the difference between an internal auditor and external auditor? That's all. If you have clarity on this, things are very, very specific. Internal is right? They are talking about the same thing. Is right? Internal auditors are not regulated in the same way of external auditor. External auditors will work on what basis? International standard of account auditing. Is that international standard of auditing? Whereas internal auditors doesn't have any framework. There is no legal requirements associated. Anybody can work as an internal auditor. Understand? Anyone, whether you have accounting qualification, bachelor qualification as such. Scope and nature of work is usually set by the company. Is that it is set by whom? It is set by the management. Is it right? It is set by whom? It is set by the management rather than the external guidelines. Is it? Although the Institute of Internal Auditors issues standards for professional practice. Is it right? You have another qualification. Is it right? CIA, Certified Internal Auditor. Is that certified internal auditors are not required to be the members of any professional bodies. Okay, this is in general. We are not concerned about that. Is it right? This again it is examination question. Okay, this is the examination question. That's what it says. Is it? Distinguish between an internal audit and external audit. If they are given for 4 marks, you have to write any 4. Is it right? We have not written anything about planning and control. Is it right? Planning and the risk-based one. Is that we are talking about the purpose, scope, relationship, and reporting. Very easy, very specific to score the marks. Is it right? Next, what is the key roles of internal audit to ensure? Say, now you can understand. Nothing is there. Very simple. Nothing is there. Whatever you have understood the concept, the same thing they will put it in different words. Is it right? They are talking in terms of what? They are talking in terms of the concept. It says that the systems operate effectively. The systems with risk management systems are operating very effectively. That's what it says. They are talking about whether the systems are fine or not. They say that they are talking about the strategies implemented with what they are taking in terms of business risk. What is the business risk? That's what we have to understand. Is it right? What is the business risk? You are having the sales. Is it right? In order to increase the sales. Is it right? In order to increase the sales, what we'll do? We are giving what? We are giving discounts. Is it right? In order to increase the sales, we are selling to unauthorized. We are not evaluating. Is it right? We are not evaluating the credit standards. Is it right? Credit policy. Is it right? We are giving sales to left, right and center to everyone. Is it right? If that is the case, what will happen? It will be non-recovery of receivables. If it is non-recovery of receivables, it is nothing but this is the example of what? This is the example of business risk. Is right? You are receiving, you are supplying to the thing. You are similarly you are talking about the purchases. You are talking in terms of purchase of equipments. Is it right? You are talking in terms of purchase of equipments. Purchase of equipments. See, purchase of equipments. Internal auditor has to get involved. Sales, internal auditor has to get involved. Is that every other thing internal auditor has to get involved? Is that because in every activity there is a risk associated, business risk. The role of the internal auditor is to implement strategies so that business risk, in respect of business risk, operate effectively. Is it? Now you can understand what is the role. Nowhere you will going to make sure that we are talking in terms of financial statement. What it says is that it is what is the business risk. That's what I say. Just now I say you are giving. Is that you are giving sales discounts. You are purchasing from unauthorized approved list. Is it right? What is the rule? It says that, is it right? Whenever there is a purchase, is it right? Purchase should be done from whom? Purchase should be done from approved list of suppliers. Is it approved list of suppliers? Now what happens if you are not having if you are not buying? Is it right? If you are not taking the approved list of suppliers, what will happen? We will get the products which are not up to the quality. Is it right? Which will not be up to the quality. And in this process, what will happen? The production will get impacted. Is it right? The production will get impacted, and ultimately what will happen? The sales will also get affected. This is the example of a business risk. Business risk is the resultant from a significant conditions, events or circumstances, actions or inactions that could adversely affect it. That's what it said. That would have a negative impact. Is it right? That will have a very adverse impact. Is it right? Adverse effect, negative effect on the entity's objectives. Got my point? Whatever happening, that's what say. It will have an adverse effect on to achieve the objectives of the strategies. If we are saying that the sales are like this, the purchases are like this, we will cover. We will cover somewhere. Is it right? We will cover. There is a question where we are talking in terms of hospital. Is it right? Maybe if you have revised it, you will come this. Is it right? people, we are talking about the audit of a hospital, is it right? Then what we are talking about the medical equipments. Is it? We are talking about the medical equipment. We are talking about the medical equipments. We are talking about the staff also. Is it? What happens if in hospitals, if staff is going to have overtime, definitely what happens? It will have an impact, negative effect. Whenever there is a overtime, is it right? Overtime is not a positive. Overtime is a negative, because the more and more you are doing the work, what will happen? The error component will increase. Whenever error component will increase, definitely it will be initiated with respect to what? It will be initiated with respect to a business risk. Adverse impact. Is it an adverse impact? This is the part of the system where we are working. Is it? This is the example of a business risk as such. Business risk never be eliminated. Risk will never be eliminated. As simple as that. Forget about business risk or any other risk. Is it right? We have to manage it. Is it right? What the internal auditor will do, they will design the operating of internal systems. Is it? That is what is a that is the scope. This is what the scope of the internal auditor. What is the role of the internal auditor? They say that business risk will never be zero. Fine. You design, is it right? You design the internal control systems to reduce what? To manage the risk management. What the internal auditor think they can help to mitigate. Mitigate means what? You have to make it lower. You have to minimize it. Is it right? You have to minimize it. You have to overcome risk. How you can minimize it? The business risk faced by the company. Is it right? You are saying that yes, we are going to have the controls. Fine. By having the controls, when you are having the internal controls, is it right? When you are having the internal controls, what will happen? Definitely there is a chance. Is it right? Chance of fraud or error will be less, will be minimized. Is that nothing is there? Now you will say that this chapter is the best. You can read on your own. I'm saying that much simple it is there. Is it right? Internal audit role is what? They are talking in terms of monitoring. Assessing the internal controls. Is that? That's what what is the objective? Their objective is very simple. Their objective is that the system should operate effectively. Therefore, this is the reason why internal auditor have a key role in terms of what? In terms of business risk. In terms of business, what they are doing, they are talking about the procedures are in place, operations are doing effectively, risk management is at the minimum level. Is right? Controls are being ineffective. Is right? We should not have only controls. We should know the controls are having in place and it is working or not. Is that? There are three elements of the business risk. Is right? Understand this. Is right? Somewhere you will write down. Is it right? You have a financial risk, you have the operational risk, and you have the compliance risk. Is it? What is the financial risk? Financial risk with respect to financial statements. As simple as that. Is it right? Financial activities are financial consequences. Is that? It will have impact on what? It will have impact on the financial statements. Is that? Operations risk is nothing but what we are talking. It talks about what? It talks about the people. It talks about the process. Is that? It talks about the systems. It talks about the procedures, is it right? Operational risk is nothing else. It talks about these people are involved, is it right? In the people, process, systems, and the procedure. Whereas compliance risk is nothing but in terms of regulations, is it right? In terms of every other industry, every other company, every other firm will follow. They have to follow whom? They have to follow a regulator. For the banks, central bank is a regulator. For Oman Ooredoo, telecom regulatory authority is there, is it right? TRA, they are the regulators, is it right? Likewise, for insurance, capital market authority is the regulator, is it right? For everything, there will be some regulation. We have to fulfill, we have to follow the rules and regulations frame and set by the regulators in order to operate in any country as such. What are the three types of risk? One is financial risk, the second one is operational risk, the third one is compliance risk. They gave you the various examples. Is that what is the business risk? New competitors come, it is a business risk. Is that? See, in the scenario, they will give you this, and they will ask you. Okay, any one they will give. Don't expect that they will give all. Never. Is right? It is only 8 marks. That's very specific. You have to focus from that point of view. If new competitors are coming, it is a business risk. It is a Vodafone came. Is it right? Previously Vodafone was there. It is a business risk for the existing people. Is it right? Next. Is it? Next. What we are talking about foreign exchange risk in terms of dollars, currencies. Is it right? We are talking about the laws and regulations. Is it right? In terms of the industries. Is it right? For the banking industry, for the telecommunication industry, for the airline industry. Is it right? Definitely, if laws of regulations will be strengthened, definitely either it will be positive or it will be negative. We are talking in terms of what? We are talking about the raw material prices are increasing. Raw material prices will increase. What will happen? In the end, the production cost will also increases. Is it right? The production cost. That's one of the loss of major customer or supplier. Is it? We are losing the business. Is it right? We are losing the business. It is a element of business risk. Fall in demand or economic. There is a recession. Is it right? There is a recession. Is it? It is a business risk. Is it right? There is a war. Is it right? See what happening. Very simple. This is what it says. Things are not as per normal in the world. It is affecting what? It is affecting the economic factors as such. You have technological obsolescence. Is that outdated technology? Is that outdated technology? Again, you have to change the technology as per the requirement. That is the reason. Whenever you are talking about the technology, the rate of depreciation will be how much? The rate of depreciation will be almost 50%. Means within 2 years, you are going to replace the technology. Political unrest, very simple. Is it right? You talk. See, if I don't tell, you will not understand. Very simple. Is it right? What's happening in Russia? It is a political unrest. Is it right? What Ukraine? It is a People are worried about that. Is it right? People are worried about that. People are worried about how the things will work, how it is going to have impact. As an auditor, you are not. See, you are working in a multinational corp. You are working in PwC. You are working in EY. What happens? You are not dealing with in that sense at a higher level, but some way indirectly it will get influenced with respect to the operations of the company. And last but not the least, we are talking about the natural disaster. These are the various examples. See, if they given you in the examination, if they give you the question, 1 or 2, okay, 1 or 2 will be there. Who are the responsibility for fraud and error? Fraud is the key element. Is that who is responsible? That's a very important thing. It is not the responsibility of the external auditors to prevent fraud, and it is the responsibility of whom? It is the responsibility of the directors, and it is the responsibility of the management. Is it right? It is the responsibility of the people who are charged with governance. Even in that case, internal auditor may therefore have the role of prevention and detection of fraud. What that's what it says. What they will do? The directors will appoint what? The directors will appoint internal auditors, and internal auditors have the role. Is it right? To prevent and detect the fraud of the any events. Is it right? In terms, they are very much interested in what? Effectiveness of the control systems. Now, understand who are responsible for the fraud. It is given in while I going this, it has been given in MCQ. Is it right? Who are the responsible? It is responsible. They are directors, management, charged with governance. Is it right? Nobody, neither the internal auditors are responsible nor external auditors are responsible. External auditors are not responsible at all. Is it right? That is the reason when we are talking about this, the management will appoint internal auditors to make sure that the internal controls will be in place and they are operating effectively. What is the limitations of internal auditor? Is it right? What are the limitations? See, the first and foremost, they have written in last, is it right? But I will say this is the first. There is no professional qualification required for internal auditor. A person from science background, a person from engineering background, a person from accounting background, anywhere, anyone can be an internal auditor. Is it right? Now, the internal auditors are what? They are employed by the company. This is what I told you in the beginning. Is it right? Their independence is very, very less. Is it? Now that the independent and the objectivity. This much you understand. If you are clear with this line, that is more than sufficient. Whatever is there in the brackets, okay, don't ever, I will tell you now, is that whatever is there in the brackets, it is only for your understanding. Don't say that I will write the things, that is what is there in the bracket in the examination. No. They will they report an error? If doing so, might threaten their continued employment. That's the reason, is that if internal auditors are reporting something, definitely next year, Bismillah Rahman Rahim, they will not be there in the job. Is it? That's what the independence level will be very, very less. They have the dual responsibility, is it right? They have the dual responsibility. It means they may not have a dual reporting relationship. Is that what they say? They are reporting to whom? They are reporting to the management. Is that they are reporting to the management as such? That's all. Is that? Whereas if you take the external auditors have a different role. Is it right? External auditors talks about the management. External auditors will talk about the shareholders also. Is it right? These are the limitations. Is that if I am clear about this, these are the only three limitations. Is it right? One, the independence level is that the independence they don't have, they are the employees. The independence element is very less. This is very easy to understand. They don't have any professional qualification. I am putting the numbers as per the easiness of understanding. Is it right? They will ask any two, not more than that. Okay? There may not be a dual reporting relationship. That is the management and those charged with governance in place. Fine? These are the limitations. What we have learned till now, what is the who are the responsible? Board of directors. Is it right? What is the concept of business risk? And what is the scope of the internal auditor as such? This example, you have if you there you have read or you have done your assignment so many times. Is that in 1999 2002 key, is that key we are talking about the key staff of WorldCom, including CEO, was used fraudulent accounting methods. Is it to hide the declining earnings. The fraud was discovered by a small group of internal auditors who secretly uncovered this million of fraud. The fraud was reported to the audit committee. Is it? Means now what we can understand from this is how important is internal auditor. Internal audit, by having the, even though they will not spare CEO or CFO. CEO and CFO will not come under the framework. Okay, even those people will be scrutinized by the internal auditor as such. Fine. Now, what is that? We have done this. Is it? Keep it in mind. Some ways, these are the small things that makes the difference. Is a value for money audit in terms of economy, in terms of efficiency, in terms of effectiveness. Is a value for money. See what is value for money audit? As simple as that. See, if assume you are doing a business, is it right? You are doing a business and you will have a internal audit department. Is it? You are having a internal audit department. Fine. That is the value for money audit. As simple as that. If you don't have internal audit department, what will happen? There will be chance of errors and frauds. If you have internal audit department, is it right? If you don't have internal audit department, assume that you don't have internal audit department. Is it right? What will happen? Cost will be less. Is it right? Cost will be less, but the element of frauds will be more in general. Fine. If you are having an internal audit department, what will happen? The cost will be more, but the fraud will be less. Now, you will choose? You will choose, yes, I will spend little bit, but my frauds, errors should be less. This simple concept is called as value for money audit. Economy, efficiency and effectiveness. Value for money audit carried out mainly in not-for-profit organizations. It carried out mainly, where we are talking about value for money audit, not-for-profit organizations. Most of the time, you see, you have Oman Cancer Association, Oman Disabled Association, Oman Diabetic Association, Oman Handicapped Association. These are all the charity works. Wherever the charity, or we are talking about not-for-profit organization, in those places, internal audit plays a very significant role. It doesn't mean that for profit organizations you should not need internal audit. Is it right? It doesn't. Should not come to a conclusion that it is for not for profit organization and profit organization is exempted in this. There is no rule on that. Is it right? Value for money audit can be judged by comparison. How the present methods of operations or use of resources compared to alternatives. See, value for money audit talks about what we are talking about. Is it right? I will give an example as simple as that. Is it right? You are talking in terms of what? You are talking in terms of automation. You are talking in terms of automation. That is the reason. See, that is the value for money. Is it right? Value for money is what? You are having automation. What you are doing? You are taking into consideration the systems. Is it right? We are taking into consideration what? We are taking into consideration the concept of information technology. Is it right? So what happens? Definitely, we are comparing what will be the manual, what will be the technology. Is it right? Now, how you can use the resources? Is that what are the comparative alternatives? I will give a very specific, very simple example. Is it right? You are having a cash deposit machines. Is it right? You have a cash deposit machine, CDMs. In some cases, the automated teller machine, ATMs and CDMs will be in the one system only. Is it right? Means you can deposit, you can withdraw from the same. That is nothing but value for money. That is what the value of money. If you take into, you are having lot of apps are there. Is it right? Now you have everywhere. You have the apps, banking apps are there everywhere. Is it right? You talk about McDonald's, you talk about the OLX, you talk about the retail products, you are talking about the foodstuffs, everything. What will happen? You have the apps. What is the concept of app? App is nothing but value for money. Is it? No. That's what it says. Is it? They are little bit they have expanded. Is it right? Economy is nothing but attaining the appropriate quantity and quality at the lowest cost. Is that attaining quantity and quality at the lowest cost? Is right? Next, economy does not simply means obtaining the lowest. People say that yes, it is economical. I have to pay low cost. No, very simple. See, if you are paying low cost, you will get low value quality. Understand? But keep it in mind. Otherwise, iPhone will not have that much value. iPhone is that you buy a product, you will not have any scope for service. Is it right? You are assured. Is it? Keep it in mind. This is what economy says. People say that economy is I want low price. Fine. If you want to have a low price, go for a low quality. As simple as that. Is it right? Go for a low quality. Who is going to lose? Company will not lose. Is it right? Company will not lose. Company will retain the customers as specific as possible. And people are there who prefer quality rather than price. So, forever, don't think that economy is only with respect to the cost. Efficiency is how we are going to have what are the inputs and what are the outputs. Is that the relationship between the goods, what are the outputs, and what are the resources we are going to use to produce them. Is it right? What are the inputs and what are the outputs? Assume inputs value. Is it right? Inputs value are 900. Definitely you will say what is the outputs. Inputs are nothing but the purchases. All the things. Purchase, labor, overheads, all the things. Outputs is nothing but sales. Definitely, is it right? The input value should be less, the output value should be 4. Then only we can going to say that there is a profit. Efficiency is another way of assessing the profits. Is that efficiency is nothing but the another way of assessing the profit. Effectiveness is how well an activity is achieving its policy with other intended effects. How it is effective, is it right? What we are doing, we are talking in terms of inputs, is it right? We are talking in terms of outputs. Now, what is happening, we also see what is the outcome, what is the result. That's very important. Is that people are accepting or people are not accepting? Are you effective or not? Is that makes a very specific message to the people who are involved in this process. People are not looking for the cost economy. Fine, very simple. People are looking for efficiency. Is it right? What are the inputs and what are the outputs? People are also looking for effectiveness. Is that you what it says? The first time you are selling is not important. Getting my effectiveness is this. The first time you are selling, nobody cares, fine. But you have to get the same customer second time. That is the challenge for you. That is the challenge for you. If customers is satisfied, customers will come back to us. That is nothing but an example of what? Effectiveness. That's very important. Okay, that is the value for money audit is there. This is fine. They are talking about this. I am not going to focus that much here. Okay, wherever is there, I will tell you in advance that I just giving a little importance to this. Okay, measuring output and measuring the efficiency. Not for profit organizations, is it? Output often does not have a market value. Is it for not profit organizations? Fine, not profit organizations, service organizations, for them the profit is not an objective, which make it difficult to measure the efficiency. Is it right? Yeah. Now, what is that? Defining objectives, we cannot, see, not for profit organizations are completely different from the profit organizations. Yeah? How are objective defined for the non-profit organizations? Definitely, every organization have their own specific criteria. Is it right? What happens? Efficiency and economy could be achieved by sacrificing the quality. Is it? People, that's what I saw. People will talk about what? People will talk about the cost. Is it? People will not talk about the results. Is it? They will never discuss about the results, efficiency. Is it right? They will only talk about what they are talking. Talk about how the cost is going to have its impact. Is it right? In this process, what will happen? The quality will have the effect. Is it? What not for profit organization? They will overemphasize on cost. This is the inbuilt problem of non-profit organizations. Very simple. Is it right? See, you should understand what is the non-profit organization. Is it right? Non-profit organizations, is it right, is basically works on where it will basically works on donations. Is it right? It basically works on donation. When it's working on the donation as such, is it right? When we are talking in terms of donations as such, donations are what? Donations are uneven, not regular. Is that you are giving 1 year, you will not give next year. Is it right? Automatically, what will happen? That it will have impact on the functioning of the non-profit organization. Definitely, if income decreases, they will make it a cost-cutting measures. Is it right? What they will do? They'll think about what? They are thinking in terms of what? Cost control. Example, see what are the measuring? Hospitals are mere successful at treating illness like life expectancy, but this means population may also increase, leading to a overcrowding in hospitals. I gave you, I think just now I gave example of an hospital. Is it right? If you are buying a material with a low cost, is that any instrument? Is it right? Definitely will have impact on the treatment. Is it? They have asked 3 or 4 questions are there exclusively on hospital management. Is it? Now, what we are talking about a IT audit. Is it a very now if you take into consideration, it is all most of the organizations, they have the IT audit. I'm not saying that where we have to start. Is it? There's nothing like numbers I will not put. They are talking in terms of what they are talking about, the how we are managing database management systems. Is it right? We call it as database management system, DBMS. Is it? Little bit we should have understanding about IT. Okay. See if you are doing this, by the time you are on the completion of your ACCA papers, you should be very clear about a little bit about the audit, IT audit also. Is it right? We are talking about the how the test of controls. We are talking about the system development process. What is how the management will perceive the problem management. Is it right? Sometimes what will happen? It is not a problem management. It is change management. Is it right? Change management with respect to what systems. You are changing the system. You are doing from manually to IT. Is it right? Not only that, we are also having the issues with what people change management with respect to the people. If the CEO is changed, you see what's happening in Twitter. Understand point? That is the best example you can understand. What's happening in Twitter? New management has taken place. They are making change every other day. Initially they have sacked people. Now they are saying that they will retain. They want to take back those people. Some of the people. Is it? That is where we are very much concerned about the audit as such. In information audit, what happens? We are moving. Is it right? We are moving from where? We are moving from. Is it? We are moving from manual to the systems. Is it right? To the IT. Is it? This is nothing but the change management. Is that? People are very much concerned how whenever we will have a change management. Is it right? Whenever they will have one question, 2 marks question. Is it right? What will happen whenever there is a change? Is it right? You should not change straight away. Is it right? You should not say that I am going to change straight away. You have to change parallelly. Is that? You have to change, means you should make it a point that you are continuing in the manual system, you are shifting to the IT system. Till the IT system is settled down, we have to continue the manual system. Is it? What is the IT audit? They talk about the networks. Is it right? They talk about the networks. They talk about the assets management, coding. Is it right? When you are talking about assets management, they are talking about the coding, barcodes. Is it right? You have the barcode readers. Is it right? You have a desktop audit. Is it? Capacity management, whether we are working with the required number of people. Is it right? We are having both. Is it right? We are talking in terms of what? We are talking in terms of hardware. Is it right? We are talking in terms of software. Is it? We are having the accessing controls in terms of what? In terms of passwords. And we are talking in terms of operational control. And most importantly, now we are going to say that it is what? It is the e-business. Is it right? What is now when you say it is e-business, we are talking. You see, I will write here. Is it right? When you are talking about e-business, it is not business to business. Is it right? It is the customer to customer. Is it right? What's happening? You are having the apps. Is it right? You are having the apps. Now what you are buying on OLX. Is it right? OLX is only a medium. Is that? OLX is only a medium, a platform. OLX is not anything. OLX is only a platform. You want to buy, you want to sell, through you can do with respect to OLX. Is that? These are the things that we are talking in terms of IT audit. Financial audit, we are talking about the financial statements. Is that? The importance of control in the financial reporting errors. Is that that's a very specific thing. It means that to review certain areas regularly to ensure relevant controls. Is a financial control. What are the financial report? See where we will have importance of controls. Is it very simple? A person will prepare, a person will verify, a person will approve. A person will prepare, is that a person will prepare Allah. Is it a person will prepare, a person will verify, and a person will approve. Apart from this is we are talking about. Now, is it you talk about the purchases. Is it you are talking about the purchases? What happens whenever you are purchasing? Is it right? A person will place the order, a request. Is it right? See the thing. Purchase clerk will request. Is it right? The purchase manager will approve, verify. Is it right? Purchase manager will verify, and sometimes you have authorization and approval. What is the concept? What is the message we are understanding from this? That's very important. Message what we are talking in terms of financial audit is we are having a controls, a segregation of duties. Okay, segregation of duties. That's the only in preventing what if you have segregation of duties, it will help us in preventing reporting errors. Is it? And wherever we need little bit extra additional, is it right? Additional attention, we can focus on that. Internal audit functions often adopt a cyclical approach. To what is the cyclical approach? They want to review it regularly. They will never say that it will be done once in a year. Statutory audit, is it right? Statutory audit will be done once in a year, whereas internal audit once in a year. Whereas internal audit work, they will do it on a repeated basis. Is that yeah. अरे fine. What are the financial audits? See the thing. Financial audits are talking about what? Broader terms. Is it right? Financial audit in relation to internal auditor. At a standpoint, financial audit with reference to internal audit. They will take into consideration what? Review and revenue and cash collections. That's all. See, they are not doing anything. Order processing, recording, billing and returns. Is it right? The procedures are in place or not. They are talking in terms of what? They are talking about the personals and payrolls. Is it right? They are talking what they will do, who are the starters, who are the levers, authorization. You are talking about running the payroll system and tax returns. That's all. Is that they are not ever think about that? They see that the procedures are working or not. They are talking about the financial capital and payment of interest and dividends are done properly on time. How much they are doing, that is not the job of internal auditor. Is that they are purchasing goods or sales of investments they are doing, and most importantly recording stock options and treasury stocks. Is that so treasury stocks is nothing but, see, we don't want that much detail, okay, but just I am talking about treasury stocks in terms of government, options is in terms of what? In terms of employees. Is that is the very simple this. Is that you are talking about what? You are talking about the external financial reporting. If you are taking the loans, how we are going to negotiate. We will take into consideration the acquisition and expenditure. If there is any acquisitions processes, they definitely internal auditor will get involved. And last, they are talking in terms of what? In terms of production or conversion. Is that now you can understand? Internal auditor is not talking. Internal auditor is talking about the internal controls. But when you say it is the internal controls, it is a very, very widespread topic. It is a widespread topic. So in that case, the internal auditor functions will have an unlimited, will have an unlimited reach. Is it right? With respect to the employee. Regulatory compliances, I told you, in terms of what? In terms of laws and regulations. Is it right? Internal auditor might be used to review the laws and regulations has been in place. Is it? Internal companies will always have to comply with certain regulations and laws. Some more than others, depending on the type of business. What is the role of internal auditor? Whether you are complying with the rules and regulations. Internal auditor will see tax law. Internal auditor will see health and safety regulations. Internal auditor will see employment law. Is it right? Means internal auditor, now you say internal auditor is not only we are talking in terms of a accounting degree, but also we are talking about the things in terms of legal obligations. Internal auditor will also be required. Is it right? Internal auditor will also be required to carry out special investigation where there is a fraud is suspected. Is it? They will ask you to review the test controls and test of controls to prevent or detect fraud. Where we are talking about this, which is that? Is a prevention and detection of fraud. In which type of risk it will come? You have audit risk, is it right? Detection risk, inherent risk, and control risk. Is it right? See, these are the things that makes the difference. Is it right? Now, the fraudulent financial reporting we have done with respect to the WorldCom. Is it right? What happens? The internal auditors have trace it out, the things that has been manipulated at the earnings place, and it is once upon a time it is in 500. Is it right? In the top 500 companies, the moment they came across this type of fraud, automatically the shares has been dumped. And what the internal auditor will do? Internal auditor will take the feedback also. Is that? Will take the feedback of the customer, will evaluate the feedback, and they will also report the results of the feedback. Is it right? Internal may be asked to assess the level of customer service, phoning the company or pretending to be customers. Is it? Now, what is the operational audit? When you are talking about the operation, it is related to the operation. Now, what is operation? That's very important. Is it right? What is operation? The example of operation is nothing but procurement. Procurement is nothing but we are talking in terms of purchases. Purchases is a very huge area, amount spent by the organizations, production organizations, manufacturing organizations. Is it right? Internal auditor will do the job at that place. What is the objective? They are simple as that. They are monitoring. We have done again and again. Is it right? Company performance, and the company they are working as per the company's policy. Whether verify whether policies are adequate. If not so, they will always ask for improvement. Is it right? Modification, upgradation. Is it upgradation? Don't say improvement, don't say change. Is it right? Upgradation. They have to do it at a higher level. Confirm policies works effectively by observing them and by testing them. Means internal auditor, what they will do, they also test the controls, and they will say, they will come up with what are the different types of test of controls. Means they will also evaluate this activity of a organization. Now you got the message. Internal auditor is not doing only one job. Internal auditor is doing multiple jobs. They say, is it what they say? Felani company operates a large department store and have a large internal audit department in place. The management of Felani are keen to increase the range of assignments that the internal auditor will do. Is it right? See, which of the following could be internal audit department of Felani can be asked to perform by management. The first option is internal audit department members could undertake mystery shoppers. Is it right? Mystery shoppers, where they can enter the store as a customer, purchase goods, and rate the overall shopping experience. What they are talking about? This they are talking in terms of process, and this we are talking in terms of what? In terms of procedures. This is the role of the internal auditor. Internal auditor could be asked to assist the external auditors. No, they will never ask to assist the external auditors. Is it right? They will never ask to assist the external auditor. Internal auditor could be asked to implement new payroll system. Is that they will not ask to implement new payroll system. They will ask what? They ask to monitor. Is it? They ask to review. Is it? They ask to monitor. They ask to review the internal audit system as such. Is that internal auditor could be asked to assist the finance department? No. With the preparation of year-end finance. No, internal auditor will never come across the talking about the financial department. What the internal auditor will do? Internal auditor could be asked. Sorry, 1 minute. Is it? Internal auditor members could undertake mystery shoppers, where what they are doing in this process, we are talking in terms of what? In this thousand, Allah. Is it? In this process, they are working with what? What are the process and what are the procedures? Is it right? Now I have started this, okay? I have started this. The moment I am going to correct it, is it right? I am going to send you the feedback. I will send the feedback in 2 files, okay? One file which you have done, and one file is suggested answers, so that you will be in a position to compare. Is it? You will be in a position to compare what I should have written and what I have written. Is it? We will do this. Is that we will do what it is? What is in the 2010 paper for a full scenario? Is it right? That question is for 6 marks. There are almost 11 minutes. They want to describe. It will be so. A list of will not be enough. Use the scenario. Do not produce an answer of every conceivable internal audit function. You need to make it tailor-made. Means in one way they are saying that don't give a general response. We have 2010 paper December. Yes. Is it right? We will take this. Okay. We 2010 December. Is it? What is 1 minute? December 1D. Okay. December 1. See the things. Is it right? What they are asking us? Is it right? 7/11/2022. Is it right? Describe additional assignments that the internal audit department of Greystone could be asked to perform by those charged by the governance. How many marks? 6 marks. Is it right? How many marks? 6 marks. Is it? This is the advantage of using OneNote. Is it right? OneNote, you can make the things. Is it? This is the answer for that. Is it right? What is the task that the management will ask to do for internal audit department? Is it right? That's why additional assignments. Is it right? What are the additional assignments? What they can do? See, they can work out. These are the other tasks internal auditor will do. They will review the controls of cash, as cash is going to be high risk area. Is that they will do which type of audits? Operational audits, procurement, purchase audit, sales audit, non-current assets register audit. Is that they will do procurement audit, and procurement audit we think it's a very risky. Is it right? Why? Because it involves what? It involves purchases. Is that you are doing what additionally do the internal auditor? They will do the payroll audit, whether we are paying to the right people who are working, who are presently working in the organization. Is right? Internal auditor will also work on what? Fraud investigation. Internal auditor will also work on what? IT audit. Is it right? And internal auditor will also work with respect to what? Compliance with laws and regulations. Is that internal auditor will have a multiple task that has to be done. Is it? Now, what are the reports? Is it? Are you understanding what's happening? Is it okay with you? Yes, Mehta, Faiza, Fatma, and Aisha.
Yes.
Okay. Now you can understand. This note, see, a very general subject, very general. Understand my point? Very general, very easy scoring marks. Is it right? Very general. Lecture 8 is difficult. I will say very simple. Lecture 8 is technical subject. Is it right? Audit risk, audit planning. Is it right? Audit risk, audit planning, internal control are technical ones. Is it right? They need more revision. They need more revision. Fine. Internal audit it's like a chiku. Is right? It's a small subject. Is right? It's not that much needed. Okay. Fine. Yeah. What we are talking about the reports? As simple as that. Is that if internal auditor reports, internal audit is effective, controls are effective, they are following the procedures are effective, they will generate reports at the end of the month. When they generate reports at the end of the month, those reports will be reviewed by the external auditor. Is it right? The work done by the internal auditors will be reviewed by the external auditors. When the work done by the external auditors, definitely there will be a communication between the internal auditor and the external auditor. If the internal auditor work is effective, automatically what will happen? The cost of the external auditor will be less. Means external auditor can depend on the work of the internal auditor. That is the reason. That is what it says. Why internal audit reports are given that much importance means internal auditor reports have some weightage. Internal auditors are employees of the organization. They audit, and so reports are addressed to whom? It is addressed to the management. Independence, integrity. Is it right? Independence, integrity. You should continue that. Is it right? Objectivity, the purpose for which we are doing. That's very simple. It should be very, very specific. Reports can take any format. No formal structure is there. Reports for internal use only. This is not for external use. Okay? It is not for external use. It is for internal use. Reports will be first in the draft format, and after that it will be in a finalized format. Is it right? Is it? The reports are very, very simple. Reports will be discussed at the exit meeting. Exit meeting is nothing but, don't say exit meeting. Is that? Exit meeting is nothing but, we are talking in terms of final meeting. Is it right? That's what they say. See, what the reports talks about, although the content and format of internal report is varied, there is no structure as such. Is it right? But we should not completely ignore. Is it right? Because external auditor, is it right? Because the external auditor, is it right, rely on the reports, is it right, on the reports generated by internal auditor. Can you understand? That is why it says, that is the reason we are talking about the internal auditor. Is right? Objectivity of the engagement could be stated. Findings should be linked back to the object. Means whatever the findings and whatever the objectives should match. Okay. What is the scope? Is that what is the scope? It includes everything. Is it right? Identify which activities are audited and highlight which has been excluded. Whichever activities you have doing, is that you can do for payroll, you can do for assets, you can do for revenue, you can do for procurement. Is it right? You can do for whatever you are doing. It is internal to the management. It is right. It is internal to the management. It is going to be. It is going to be in a there is no format as such. Is it? There is no format as such, and subsequently they have the flexibility. What are the results? Results include what? Results include different factors. Is it right? Results include what? Observations. Results include what? Conclusions. And most importantly, results talks about what? Opinions. Less weightage. Understand my point? See, we have covered this. Report generated by internally will have less weightage. Report generated externally will have more weightage. Is it right? We have done this. Now, this is the same concept. Internal auditors, fine. Internal auditors are effective. Fine, I am not talking about that. Definitely, external auditors will rely on the work done by the internal. Now, if internal auditors are not effective, think what will happen. That is the reason we are going to say that it is a value for money audit. That is one of the reasons. Is it right? It says that in some cases the work will be outsourced. See, if work is outsourced, there are some advantages, there are some disadvantages. A examination question is there. If you are outsourcing, what are the advantages and what are the disadvantages? Is it right? What are the advantages and what are the disadvantages? See, advantage is what you get people very quickly. Understand? I'm telling you the answers. If what you want internal audit department, you will outsource it. Is it right? What you will do? Instantly you pay, you get the specialist people. Fine. Get the people, start the day, start the job from the moment they enter they log in. Done. What is the disadvantage? Disadvantage is their responsibility is less. If you are a employees of the management, your responsibility will be more. If it is outsourced, the responsibility will be less. This is the basic difference in terms of advantage and a disadvantage. It is now you can understand this paragraph. Okay, outsourcing is a process of purchasing functions from the outside source. Accountancy firms from internal audit services. So company can buy internal audit services as required. Is it? Definitely they are buying the services. What will happen? The accountability. Is it? It is one step ahead with respect to responsibility. We are not talking about responsibility. We are talking about accountability means you have to give justification. You are, is it right? The responsibility lies on you specifically. That is what individual. We are talking about a specific person, purchase manager, the accountability. We are talking about the department, fine. But that is what it says. The company could buy in internal audit services as required, that maintaining its own internal audit department. Is it? So, we have the advantages, we have the disadvantages. What are the advantages? You will get very high caliber force, staff. Is it right? You will get specialist skills. Is it right? You will get what? Specialist skills. You get very good staff. Is it right? You will you can set up in internal audit department. Is it right? Internally you can settle internal audit department. The cost is you don't have to work on recruitment or training cost because you are hiring people from outside. That is the reason they say that 10 years experience, 5 years experience, 3 years experience. Is that service contract can be appropriate time scale. You don't have any restrictions on the service contract. A team of staff can be provided. We have everything, is it right? Outsourcing, we have everything in place. Can be used for what? Can be used for a short-term basis. Is it? What are the disadvantages? Is it right? They will ask you. Again, I am saying they will ask you advantages. Is it right? They ask you advantages and disadvantages. They will ask you any two. 1, 1, 1, 1. Understand what? And what is the disadvantage? Is it right? They are talking about the disadvantage. It says that independence and objectivity issues. If the firm self-review, self-interest, familiarity, if using the same firm to provide internal audit and external audit services, it is a big question mark. Is it right? It is a big question mark that definitely it will not happen. If when you are outsourcing, definitely you are getting a specialized people, you have to pay more. Okay, you have to pay more. Is it? Company staff may oppose outsourcing. Is it? What will happen if you are outsourcing the work? The company staff will not have any work. Okay, they will remain silent. That is called as a redundancies. Yeah, redundancies. It says that the people who are already employed, they will not have any work. Definitely, there is a high staff turnover. People will leave. Is it right? People will leave. See, people want job as simple as that. Is it right? people want to work. Outsourced staff may have limited knowledge of the client. It is one of the sources. Definitely. What happens? They are working for what? They are working for only a short term. Is that where it is there? It has been given somewhere now. They are working only for a short term. When they work for a short term, definitely they will not have any knowledge. If you are outsourcing the things, is that neither it will be asset, is it right? If outsourcing, is it right? If outsourcing, is it in the long term, is it right? In the long term, neither it will be an asset nor it will be a liability. Is it? It will not work like that. And preferably, keep it in mind, preferably, whenever you are writing this type of question, is it right? You should not say, yes, you have to have your own internal audit department, but you have to write in such a way that internal audit department should exist, and because if it exists, there will be a advantage for what? Value for money audit. Is it? Now, I'm here. I'm here. 1 minute. I'm just searching. Is it right? See, what we will do? We will complete this, and is it right? And we will stop here. Okay? Is it right? Tomorrow, when we come back, we will do a part of revision will be done, and we will do this question. Okay? If you do this question now, it will be overflowing. Understand my point? It will be overflowing. Is it right? You will really find, you will not find. Okay? Once, it's very important question. 2013 question, you are talking about the core concepts of internal audit. Is it right? So, once it's done, I will stop here. Okay? I will send this file to you. Okay? Just revise it. Is it right? Just revise it. Revise it only just like reading. That's all. Okay? Reading only. Tomorrow when we come back, inshallah, first we will do this and we'll start next lecture. Okay? Is it clear? Otherwise, what will happen? Definitely, is it right? Definitely, the interest you will lose. Okay? Yes, Maita, Faiza, Fatma, and Aisha. Fine? Good, I know. Is it? Now, what we have done? We are talking about the what is a business risk? Is it right? What is a business risk? What is the need of difference between internal audit and external audit? What is the scope of internal audit? Is it right? What is the scope of internal audit? What are the different assignments internal audit will do? Is it right? What are the different assignments will internal audit will do? What are the different types, examples of the business risk? Is it right? Next, what are the next? What we have done recently? We have done something. if we are, what are the importance of the reports of the internal audit? Is it right? What are the reports of the internal audit? The last one, is it right? Managing an outsourced department. See, if you give something to the outsourcing, is it right? Fine, your task will be less, no doubt on that. Is that if company says that internal audit department is outsourced to some audit firm, is that? See, the problem lies here. That's the most people will not think. The rule says that internal auditors, is it right? Internal auditors in general doesn't need, is it right? Doesn't need any qualification. Is it right? Doesn't need any qualification. Now, if you are outsourcing the people task as such, we don't know by whom it is done. By whom it is done, is it right? We have to make sure that whenever we are outsourcing a internal audit department, we should be in continuous monitoring of internal audit work. Understand, man? We have to monitor how they are doing, what they are doing, and how they are working it out. That is where we are talking in terms of outsourcing is fine. How you are managing, and how you are managing an outsourced department. And more importantly, what are the controls you are implementing? You as a firm. Is it right? Set performance measures. Is it right? You have to set, yes, set performance measure in terms of what? In terms of what they have reviewed, in terms of errors. Is it right? If errors are increasing qualitatively, is it right? There is a lot called if errors are increasing, if controls, when the errors will increase, when internal controls are not in place. Is it? When the fraud will happen, when the internal control is not in place as such. Is it right? That what you say. What as a management, we have to set the standards for them. First one, you have to ensure appropriate audit methodology is maintained. They are doing as per the audit procedures or not. Is that you should not say that yes, I have outsourced it, just I will close my eyes and I will just focus on other things. No. The moment you outsource it, the responsibility of the management will increase twice. Understand? The cost will increase, the responsibility will increase, and you have to think about how you have to carry it out. What they say, what is the responsibility? The responsibility is that if they do anything review, you have to review the working papers on a sample basis. Again, you cannot say that I am totally dependent on internal audit department. Agree work plan in advance, what they are doing, what they are doing, what they say, what is the plan to work. Is it right? Plan schedule. Is it right? Plan schedule. You should ask them what are the work plans in advance. If the firm also provide external audit, it ensures that appropriate safeguards will be there in place. Is it right? If you are talking about what a firm, one company will say that they are providing internal audit, they are providing external audit. But what happens? I don't know whether I have told you or not. Is it right? There should be a separate team should be there. Is it right? You have to have a safeguards in place to ensure that both are working independently. I use one word. If you remember this or not, we are talking in terms of what? Chinese wall. Is that we are talking in terms of Chinese wall. Are you clear about this? This is the substance of internal audit. Is it? This is the substance of internal audit. Tomorrow when we are coming back, that's what they say. Internal audit has come up in every exam sitting. Every examination they will talk about internal audit. No doubt on that. Is it right? It can be tested either in section A or B. Is it right? In the scenario questions, it be tested alongside the professional ethics. Professional ethics what? Confidence, objectivity, integrity. Is it right? Self-review. We have done all the things. Is it right? We are talking about the professional ethics, self-review, self-interest. Is it right? We have not done self-interest. Is it right? We are talking about familiar. We are talking about integrity, objectivity, and self-review. Okay, that's what they are talking in terms of it. Fine. It is important that you should understand the remit, the concept of internal audit, and how it is going to be different from external audit. In a scenario-based questions come up, make sure that you have to write the answer in relevant circumstances. Use the information provided to your miss. See, 90% is that now I will say 90% of the answers will be in question. %90 will be in question. See, just you have to see this is the easiest way of passing this exam. Understand this. This is the easiest way. You have the scenario. That's what we have done. You take all the question papers which we have solved. The moment we will highlight it, the moment you are highlighting something, it means you have to get answer from those things only. Understand? That's the very simple. This paper is not difficult at all. This is the most easiest paper. Only thing is you have to work very smartly, very specifically how we have to do. Read the scenario, highlight the scenario, put the numbers, take the numbers, write the things. And you see how difference you will get the results. Is it right? That's what we are talking in terms of. Is it right? Next. Fine. I will stop here. Is it right? I will stop here. I'm stopping little bit early. Okay? Little bit early. But I will stop here. Inshallah tomorrow. Is it?